Hey guys, MSG Retired here. I am bringing you a Stolen Valor spotlight on an investigation that the Guardians of the Green Beret did, a very detailed and in-depth investigation on a gentleman by the name of Blaine Campbell. Um, Blaine also had a name change when he came out of the military. His name while he was in the military was actually Blaine Hardwick, and he changed it to Blaine Campbell. And Guardians of the Green Beret were made aware of Blaine's claims through a fellow Special Forces soldier or prior Special Forces soldier who was on a forum site, a Scout Sniper forum site where Blaine was attempting to be vetted into, where the vetting questions that he answered didn't make any sense. And that Special Forces soldier reached out to Guardians of the Green Beret and asked them to look into Mr. Blaine Campbell and see what they could find out in regards to his Special Forces service. So with that, we're going to jump over to the Guardians of the Green Beret website, and we're going to take a quick look at their investigation, a very detailed and in-depth investigation. So if you go to Guardians of the Green Beret, you can look up Blaine Campbell, and you can see the entire investigation that they did. They have all of the information posted. They also have a video on their YouTube channel, and I suggest you go over and check out that video where they have the entire phone conversation with Blaine listed. Make sure you subscribe to their channel and give them a thumbs up on it. They spent an awful lot of time doing this investigation, and they acquired a great deal of evidence as to Blaine making claims that he was in fact a Green Beret and a MOS 18 Bravo, which is a weapons sergeant. Like I said, they do some super in-depth stuff because they want to be 100% sure before they bring somebody to the forefront that they are correct in stating that this individual never graduated from the Q course and was never a Green Beret. So, I'm just going to read a little bit here. Our investigation into allegations that Blaine Campbell, formerly known as Blaine Hardwick, falsely claimed to be a Special Forces weapons sergeant and Green Beret, is complete and supported by the evidence. Blaine is not, never was, and never will be a Green Beret. And their obligations to the regiment and the individual have been met. So, like I said, they do thorough investigations before they ever out someone. Let's scroll down a little bit here. Oh, and they did work in, they were partnered with the Second Amendment Foundation for this story. So go over to the Second Amendment Foundation, check them out. The original article broke here first at the Gun Writer, and we'll go up and take a look at it. Gunmaker with DOD contacts falsely claims to be a Green Beret. So this is where the article first broke on Gun Writer, and the Guardians of the Green Beret, they were sent Blaine Campbell on May 7th, 2021. And on that very same day, they knew he wasn't a Green Beret. And they talk about how he tried to join a Scout Sniper forum on the internet. And there was an SF guy that was there who sent this information to the Guardians of the Green Beret, and they started looking into it. Back in the early 90s, Blaine Campbell went by the name of Blaine Hardwick. So he did do a name change. And once they got all their information correct, they went ahead and requested records from the National Personal Record Center in St. Louis. And while waiting on that, they started to collect a lot of data from the internet in regards to any claims that he was making. And there were numerous places that were showing Blaine claiming to be a Green Beret, Special Forces Weapons Sergeant, or 18 Bravo. or information that would lead people to believe that he was a fully qualified Green Beret. They actually heard Blaine in his own voice during a phone conversation that he was a Special Forces weapons sergeant and 18 Bravo. So they also found numerous places where in print he claimed that. Shaytac USA is a company that he bought while he was the CEO of Campbell Arms. Campbell Arms purchased Shaytac USA, which is a weapons manufacturing company that makes some amazing sniper rifles from what I've been told and from what I've seen. In there, he claims that he was a former 82nd Airborne, which he was. He was 2nd of 325th Infantry. But then he claimed Special Forces Weapons Sergeant, which he was not. He never completed the Q course. So that's one place. Then there was an article on Maxim where he also claimed as being a former Green Beret and was not. You can see larger pictures of this down in the bottom. Let's talk about the recorded phone call that was made to Blaine and some of the things he said in this recorded audio. 136 in the video, Blaine says he's a Special Forces weapons sergeant. So he did say that and said that right to Guardians of the Green Beret. And once said, it can't be unsaid. 238, he states he went through selection in 93 and the Q course about a year later. He actually went straight into Special Forces qualification course, class 593, on 2 September 93, and was recycled into class 1-94 that started 8 November 93. A year later, he wasn't on active duty anymore. 249, he says he specialized in Halo and had 300 jumps. That statement changes twice later on in their video. 257 claims a DevGru guy is with his company. They confirmed the guy who he mentions, the individual Blaine mentions as DevGru, was emphatic that he never claimed that he served in DevGru. He said he tried to correct that as soon as he heard it. This was a non-factor until we heard him claim the COO's husband was a Green Beret later in a phone call. At 320, claims 18 Bravo and weapons sergeant. Both are not true. 430, he says Halo Command. There's no such thing, or there's no sure thing as Halo Command. They do have a free fall committee. 435, Blaine says yes when asked if he was a Green Beret. Another false statement. 438, Blaine says the COO's husband was a former captain, Special Forces Green Beret. The COO, or the chief operational officer of his company, told us over the phone her husband was never military. This would be a non-factor until we heard Blaine tell Don Shipley a DevGru guy was with Shaytac. These combined statements reinforce the fact Blaine doesn't do this by mistake. He intentionally tries to lead people to believe all these special operations guys work in his company. 456, jump total climbs to 350, and he worked at Halo Command. Command Sergeant Major Bone wanted him at Halo Command. They called Command Sergeant Major Henry Bone over the phone, and he begs to differ on that. Does he mean free fall committee? Question mark. We reached out to the safety officer who was there along with the CSM that had free fall committee under his command, and they both confirmed this didn't happen. And there's a picture of the email down on the bottom. They've got tons of emails, text messages, all that stuff. 528, part of the Green Beret. Yeah. Again, says he is a Green Beret. This is not a true statement. He was never a Green Beret. Explains the long tab and agrees he's tabbed. He never earned a Special Forces tab. And they have a screenshot of him admitting it in picture number 53. 7 minutes into it, went through the Q course. At 9:35, the COO says she vetted Blaine. We won't be using those vetting sources as he's 100% not a Green Beret, nor did he complete the Special Forces qualification course. So I don't know how their COO vetted him as being a Green Beret, but they didn't do it correctly, that's for sure. 10:18, they will provide people that served with Blaine. 10:30, the COO says, if you want the truth, we have offered Shaytak's attorney, Blaine, the COO, and two others close to Shaytak assistance in getting the records they need. We had an SF brother waiting 1 year and 3 months for his own records after filing an SF 180. We got them for him in 2 weeks. These guys can get military records the click of a finger and get it back pretty quick. The COO says they'll give legit answers. Spinning the tale and changing the story is not giving legit answers. At 11:17, Blaine says he graduated Robin Sage. The records don't agree with that. Let's see. 12:17, he was pulled to Command Sergeant Major Bones' office and sent to Halo Command. Again, free fall committee, question mark, and they reached out. That never happened. 12:42, Blaine says he was disappointed in his command, so he left. You can't just get disappointed in your command and leave. That's not how it works. He would have had to have dropped out or whatever. Not sure. I think this is dealing with him leaving the military. 13 minutes in, Blaine says he went through phase 1, 2, and 3. We asked if he went through phase 13. He says phase 1, 2, 3, and 94 to 95. His 1059 dropping him from the Q course is dated 4 April 94. And his 2-1 shows he was no longer on active duty on 8 June 94. So they're questioning this. Could his time as a student was so short that he doesn't remember how the phases ran? If you listen, they ask him point blank if he went through phase 13. He says he went through phase 1, 2, and 3. That was during the time phase 13 era, when the way the phases ran, you went phase 2, phase 1, and then phase 3. Phase 2 was the first, and then phase 1 and 3. That's how they came up with the phase 13 terminology. Any of the guys that went through that know it's not 2-1-3, it's 1-2-3, or not 1-2-3, it's 2-1-3. Even I get confused and I'm reading it. At 13:36 in the video, they took my rank for accusations of murder. When he was interviewed by the Second Amendment Foundation, he couldn't remember why they took his rank. Anybody that has their rank taken or has an Article 15 and gets reduced in rank or whatever, they remember why they lost their rank, trust me. And they say the same thing. Now he's down to 300 jumps, and at the 1940 minutes into the video, he's down to 300 jumps, so he lost 50 overnight. At the 2056 mark, the COO says, we'll provide you with whatever you need, and they still haven't given him anything. Every time they've inquired, they get nothing. And at 2236, the COO says, she supports what we're doing. Well, yeah, she doesn't seem to like it when they're doing it to someone that she works with. So that just was a recap of what the video on the phone call covered. So it seems as though Blaine finally sent Guardians of the Green Beret an email, and he says it's an apology and wants to know why they don't share it. How can it be an apology if it can't be shared? It's funny that he has given it to those close to him and they read it, yet we can't share it. So I guess he sent them an email and told them they can't share it, and mentioning his apology. His point man emailed us. The typos are from him, and we won't change what he has sent. Not one person in this matter supports Blaine's former claim of 18 Bravo MOS qualification. This includes Blaine. As soon as Blaine gave to Guardians of the Green Beret and I his records, everyone has been clear about the lack of tab orders. The difference here is that Blaine thought he was right. He fully believed he was acting appropriately until I checked his records, at which point he apologized and retracted. He knew it wasn't right. He was pushing this stuff forward. The only thing that Blaine would be sorry about is he got caught. Where's the public apology? If it can't be shared, what good is it? Exactly. Guardians of the Green Beret post public apologies all the time. There was one that I had brought to them. OG Silverback, some of you remember, he did an actual video apology, and they have posted a couple of those. He did 2 of them because the first one really wasn't all that. Blaine continues to say he actually completed the Q course. He admits, he said it a number of times. He says the Army does not support this with orders for his tab. He agrees that he shouldn't have made those claims. He won't in the future. He apologized to the SF community and those he misled. That's somewhat it in a nutshell, without sharing the actual email since we were asked not to. Even though they were told they could legally do it, they honor his wish not to post the email. So this guy's never actually come out in public and apologized for his bogus Green Beret 18 Bravo claims. His proof. Well, the COO continues to stay involved with this whole thing, and she sent them an email. And according to Blaine, he went through all 3 stages and graduated Robin Sage, got his tab, knife, and beret, and then had his tab and knife taken from him. He is confident that if you truly do due diligence, you will confirm this. He immediately went home today and dug out of his storage, which I attached above. He left on his own because he felt abandoned by his command. You don't just leave. You don't just walk away. And the knife, the whole knife thing, it was what they say is a terribly numbered Randall that was given out at Q course graduations. However, when they reached out to Randall, they've never partaken in any of these type of programs where knives were given out to Q course graduates. And the Arbor knife program started years after Blaine would have attended the Q course and graduated. So that's not really any proof. Now we're going to look at his Army report card, the 1059. Oh boy. And there's some twists and turns in here too. Corporal Hardwick was a compassionate relief from the Special Forces Weapons Sergeant course, class 1-94. A compassionate relief. So he was let go out of the course for compassionate reasons. There were some legal issues that were going on the end of 93, first part of 94. His now ex-wife was involved in. There were some civilian charges, and that's why he was dropped from the course. Now, this would have been during stage 2, or phase 2, I should say. Now, remember, this was during the phase 13 era. So he would have went to phase 2, phase 1, then phase 3, not 1, 2, 3. So he was still in phase 2, the first phase of the program when he was going through. However, Blaine claims that he graduated from phase 2. Well, the 2 people that signed this 1059 form were contacted, and basically what was confirmed was, well, if he had graduated from phase 2, they never would have signed this 1059 form. He would have been somebody else's problem at that point. Can't make this up. He never graduated phase 2. He never got through the first phase of his Q course qualification for weapons sergeant. And there's more. There's some additional information here at the bottom of the page that talks about Blaine flip-flopping back and forth depending on who he's talking to, whether he was tabbed or not. And they reference all of these. And there's supporting documentation down in the media section. And they've got a ton of it. And I'm not going to get into any more of this. I'm going to scroll down, though, and just show you there are additional links. Blaine in his own words. There was an article on Blaine in Soldier Systems. The Gun Writer, Truth About Guns, Ammo Land article, and a Second Amendment Foundation. And then they list all of this stuff down here in the bottom. You can see larger views of it. His NPRC request, the cover sheet that came back, and just lots of information on this. So, you know, they went above and beyond in an investigation to be 100% sure that he never completed the Special Forces Q course. And he was never a Special Forces weapons sergeant. So this is one of the larger cases that they've done. And like I said, they put a lot of time and a lot of effort into the background investigation on this to make 100% sure they're correct. And, you know, that's one thing I admire about the Guardians of the Green Beret. And that's, I kind of base my own investigations on Stolen Valor on the fundamentals that they use at being 100% correct before you ever mention anybody as being a phony anything. You just don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the one that calls out a true veteran as not being a veteran. You really want to make sure you do everything possible. And that's why we share resources too. I've got a good working relationship with Steve over at Guardians of the Green Beret. We bounce stuff off of each other. They've got specific resources that they use, and I've tapped Steve before. Hey, could you check this for me? Can you check that for me? He reaches out to his resources. They do that. I have certain resources that I can help them with, and I just did one. As a matter of fact, I still have to get that all put together for them. So, you know, I just like to highlight some of their cases and give them the public views that they deserve. Make sure you go over to Guardians of the Green Beret on their YouTube channel. Subscribe to their channel. Make sure you go to the Guardians of the Green Beret website. View their website. You can view all the documentation on Blaine there. And you can see exactly how much time they actually put into these investigations. It's amazing. So anyway, if you like the content, guys, hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Kind of in a stalled moment here. So, you know, it's free to subscribe. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification to get notified of any future uploads, live streams, or anything else that I may be posting on my YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up too. You know, the algorithm for YouTube, you got to get all these things done, and that just helps build the channel and keeps me motivated to bring you more and more content. I'll be doing some leaf peeping here soon. We're getting into the fall in New England. I'll be out on the bike. We'll be going up on the Mohawk Trail, going up into Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York, and doing some leaf peeping. So I'll be bringing those videos out soon. And as always, have yourself a great day.